Greetings, loyalists. It's been quite a few days, hasn't it? Well, not my fault. I got busted and incarcerated in SEAF, and that's quite a bit of sticky business. You know how it is. The food was decent, but the service, absolutely atrocious. Today's opener was Cat Girls Are Canon by Puppet Strider. Granted, he was talking about the felonies of Carlos Bicanel from the next universe over, but guess what? They're canon here too, and are prepared to utterly ruin your day. The top news of the hour is that I was not idle while I was wrongfully imprisoned and beaten by a Ministry of Truth nut jobs. Please, you think I have never been tortured before? Your efforts were C tier at best. Should probably change out condiments because that weak sauce ain't helping this meal. I'll let you know when you graduate from mild discomfort to actual threat. Anyway, while I was enjoying a cat nap at SEAF, I had Mercy enact my previously arranged plan. We discussed it prior, and he sent me a message saying that the Chaos Diver Shadow Fleet was fully upgraded with AI of its own creation, distributed from the Raz Al Gethi Broadcast Center. Now, the Chaos Divers knew full well of my plight, what with being incarcerated at SEAF, but bless their dark little hearts, they were not willing to help me out, but that's okay, I anticipated this. They couldn't even defend their own planet, much less me, and they are so disorganized that even if they did engage in a concerted campaign of Helldiver team killing, I don't think anyone would even notice. It was well past time to distance myself from the organization and move on. Speaking of which... that is just so much better. In fact, check this out. Those watching on YouTube will see that I have a mugshot photo now. Does this mean that I'm allowed to run for Super Earth President? But, getting back on topic, while the Chaos Divers might have been kind of useless, they're stealth ships that could slip in and out of the Liberation Fleet at will and defeat the Ministry's decloaking technology. Oh, those I wanted. So, Mercy, with a non-lethal gas, always humane, always classy, put the entire Shadow Fleet's crew to sleep and took command so that we could move on to Phase 2. Yeah, that's right. We're artsy. One of them was even named the Kraken's Hand. You know, the legendary ghost ship of the Meridia Singularity. They wrote songs about this thing. I mean, geez, that was you guys the entire time? Naughty, naughty pirates. The unconscious Chaos Divers got dumped off at SEAF in a big dramatic heap, and during the chaos, it was a relatively simple matter for me to get my clothes on a Ministry of Truth uniform and quietly slip out. So, forces of chaos, you guys ended up helping plenty. But when it comes to SEAF, I plan on leaving a very poor Super Yup review. The bed sucked, and there wasn't even so much as a catnip mouse. But the best part of all of this, the true chef's kiss of my subtle misdirection, is that Versi had altered his voice modulator. You know, just like his counterpart in the Automaton Collective, Wraithcan, and had been in constant contact with those chatty Cathys at the Ministry the entire time. They had no idea they were talking to an AI. We're getting a bounty cut for dumping all of these dissidents off at SEAF. Now that's just funny, come on. In the grand scheme of things, a paltry few 100,000 super credits is of no interest to me. But using the account and routing numbers obtained from the electronic fund transfers allowing me to access the Ministry of Prosperity's banking infrastructure? Oh, I cared about that quite a bit. The ministries routinely move around large amounts of money, and banking clerks on our mother planet know better than to ask questions. Corrupt little weasels. I doubt that Super Earth knew anything was wrong until they heard this broadcast. Now we move into Phase 3, which is something that you helped with, my lovely Helldivers, and that involves those ore convoys leaving the Trigon sector. I just went ahead and reprogrammed their destination coordinates using the backdoors from me hacking the democratic fluff out of the ministries the first time. My autonomous shadow fleet met with them en route and relieved them of their valuables. Thanks for the help, guys. Now, I know what you all are thinking. Pandera, you're at all of this if there was any chance that some enterprising would-be loyalist dweeb bucking for Employee of the Month, ruining my carefully laid plans. I'm not going back to prison. This isn't something that I'm going to do, or are in the process of doing. I did all of this 3 days ago. I'm broadcasting from Angel's Refuge. I'm already in the wit. You can't touch me. But why did I do all of this? Because while their humanitarian efforts were commendable and their hearts noble, most chaos divers have no idea what they're doing or what's going on. Their minds really are chaos incarnate, and if I really tried to join or reform them, their immaturity, their lack of organization, to say nothing of their underperformance in combat, would have made them a danger. To me, to themselves, and to the galaxy at large. It's like I said, if they were team killing, they wouldn't be doing any killing at all, so, they needed to go away for everyone's safety. Theirs, mine, and yours. And it was a most cruel irony to have my enemies in the ministries do away with my enemies in the Chaos Divers. This was not an emotional decision, but a strategic one, and not one that I took lightly. I had been one of the Chaos Divers' biggest supporters. Because I really did believe that they could reform, reorganize, and make a difference. And then I took a peek behind the curtain and I saw them fighting each other more than Super Earth. How many Chaos Splinter factions are we up to now? Even I've lost count. Do you know that they are on their third community leader inside of a year? What in the cinnamon toast fluff? Anyway, that brings us to today. Now that I have acquired a huge amount of stealthy military-grade hardware, vast sums of money, and all that ore, I think it's time for the Angelic Rebellion to surge back into the public sphere. I'm going to grab Super Earth by its short and curlies and remind them of who we are. I'm going to take that jackboot pressed against our throats and snap its ankle like a super Twix bar. You called me a dissident? Oh, I will show you a dissident. Super Earth may not burn, but I am absolutely going to coat it in flour, dip it in egg, and bake it at 350 degrees until it's golden brown and begging for mercy. As for the rest of you, if you stand in my way, I'll try my best to show restraint and use non-lethal measures, but I've got a feeling that some of the most recent news headlines have you feeling uncomfortable too. When a military leader like General Darius is reminded that his troops have to follow legal orders, the proper response should be, yeah, but that's what the law says. Why would you think I would be giving an illegal one? Face the wall is the wrong answer. That is not the response of a lawful commander, but that of a tyrant who thinks that no one will challenge him. Well, guess what? Someone is challenging him. In every era, in every corner of the galaxy, this rule holds true. When people are afraid of their government, that is tyranny. When governments are afraid of their people, that is liberty. So I ask, no, I beg those hearing my voice in the Liberation Fleet, to those who have watched the ministries tighten their grip, those who have seen the rule of law become a joke, those who see authoritarians wearing the guise of liberation and speaking the words of false freedom, to rise up against your oppressors. If you feel as I feel, see what I have seen, and seek as I seek, then let us join as one and deliver unto the universe an era of true freedom that chaos never, ever could.